Today, we're tackling a question that's as painful as it is real. Why is it that no matter how hard we work, we still can't seem to live the wealthy life we've imagined? Do you ever feel this way too? You wake up early, work late, pull endless overtime, and spin like a top every single day, yet your wallet remains flat. The pressure of bills and responsibilities feels suffocating. That dream house, the sleek car, the spontaneous vacations, all of it seems forever out of reach, existing only in your imagination. And you're not alone. The reality of working hard but never getting rich isn't rare at all. The data proves it. Behind it lies a deep socioeconomic truth that explains why effort alone no longer guarantees prosperity. Since the mid-1970s, the global economy has transformed dramatically, but wages for the average worker have barely moved. Over the past 45 years, the real average wage has risen only about 24%. Think about that. Almost half a century of grinding harder and longer, yet income has crawled forward at a snail's pace, never keeping up with the soaring cost of living. Meanwhile, corporate executives not only pocket sky-high salaries, but also enjoy mountains of perks, bonuses, stock options, luxury offices, company cars, and access to exclusive circles. Their wealth grows at a pace ordinary workers can barely fathom. The gap between the boardroom and the shop floor doesn't just feel unfair. It forces us to question whether today's wealth distribution is remotely just. In a workplace, the link between effort and reward is far more complicated than we'd like to believe. Hiring decisions, in particular, expose a harsh truth. Hard work doesn't always win. A study by University College London hit the professional world like a bombshell. It revealed that nearly 60% of hiring managers, when interviewing, preferred candidates who seemed talented, even if that meant rejecting more experienced and diligent candidates. Even when they knew the hardworking applicant might be better qualified, they still leaned toward talent. This shows how deeply workplaces idolize talent while discounting effort. Picture two applicants. Matt is quick-witted, overflowing with ideas. In his interview, he speaks smoothly, tossing out fresh insights that captivate the recruiter. Simon, on the other hand, is less eloquent. Conservative in thought, but steady, he has built up years of hands-on experience and delivered consistent results. Yet studies show Matt is far more likely to be hired, simply because he looks talented. Simon's diligence and track record carry less weight in the moment. This bias is everywhere. Flashy talent gets noticed early, opening doors. But if talent isn't paired with discipline, it crumbles under real pressure. Meanwhile, steady workers who keep learning and building momentum often carve out strong careers, proving that persistence can rival brilliance. If we want to understand society's true perception of effort, consider this social experiment. Imagine Kevin, an office worker who has always been diligent and responsible. But then his company adopts new software that automates all his tasks. Overnight, his role becomes obsolete. Because he has a 3-year contract, the company must keep paying him. Kevin has two choices. Stay home while the software handles his work. Keep showing up every day, even though his tasks no longer add value. Kevin chooses the latter. Here's where it gets interesting. When people learned about Kevin's choice, their opinions split sharply. If he stayed home, people judged him, even if his contract allowed it. They saw him as lazy, unprofessional, irresponsible. But if he went to the office, even knowing his work was meaningless, people admired him. They saw him as moral, responsible, and trustworthy. This reveals a deep bias. Society equates working hard with being good. A 2023 paper titled The Moral Judgment of Effort explored this in detail. It found that people consistently praise effort, even when that effort doesn't improve results or add value. Psychologically, our brains use shortcuts. We equate hardworking with honest, dependable, trustworthy. Just the appearance of effort earns respect. Take charity fundraising. One person promises to run a marathon. Another promises to play video games for 5 hours. Both aim to raise the same money. Who gets more support? Almost always the marathoner. Why? Because we value visible struggle. Sweat and exhaustion seem more moral than leisure, even if the impact is identical. Effort, in society's eyes, has become a moral standard, regardless of its outcome. There's another paradox worth exploring: the contradiction between working hours and productivity. Back in the 1930s, economist John Maynard Keynes predicted that by the 21st century, people would only work 15 hours a week. With rising productivity, fewer hours should be needed to meet society's needs. It sounded plausible. Machines and technology would do the heavy lifting, freeing people's time. But reality has been the opposite. Productivity has skyrocketed, up more than 70% since the 1960s. Yet instead of shorter work weeks, modern employees are busier than ever. Overtime has become the norm. In some industries, extreme schedules like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week or all week, 24/7, are disturbingly common. So why, in an era of automation and AI, do we still feel chained to endless work? Perhaps it's because the very nature of work has shifted, demanding more presence than output. And that deserves serious reflection. Anthropologist David Graeber shed light on this reality in his book Bullshit Jobs. He described jobs that absorb time and energy while creating no meaningful value. By his definition, a bullshit job is one where even the employee struggles to explain why it exists. Outwardly important, but inwardly hollow. The finance industry is full of them. A YouGov survey found that more than half of financial workers believe their jobs lacked real meaning. Endless reports, redundant meetings, repetitive trades, leaving employees to wonder if they're contributing anything of value. Administrative roles often fall into the same trap, with tasks that exist to satisfy regulations rather than create impact. Many customer service roles, too, reduce to robotic repetition. The tragedy is not just wasted potential, it's the corrosion of motivation. When effort feels pointless, burnout becomes inevitable. Today, much of what passes for hard work is really a performance. Some employees clock in early, stay late, even show up on weekends, not to get more done, but to look dedicated. Watch closely and you'll often find wasted hours, scrolling, chatting, tackling trivial tasks. The effort isn't aimed at results. It's aimed at optics, the performance of ambition. Social media fuels this too. People post late-night office selfies with captions about grind culture. But often it's branding, not productivity. Real effort isn't about how busy you look. It's about what you create. Anything else is just noise. History proves the point. The Industrial Revolution revealed the true logic of wealth. Effort alone doesn't make you rich, ownership does. Factories brought machines, scaled output, and squeezed 12 to 16 hours of labor from men, women, and children. Wages remain meager. But the factory owners, who controlled the capital and the systems, grew unimaginably wealthy. Profits fed expansion. Expansion fed more profits. A self-reinforcing cycle. Workers produced the wealth. Owners captured it. The lesson is brutal but clear. Unless you own the results of your labor, your hard work enriches someone else. Wealth today revolves around one principle: multiplication. Naval Ravikant identifies 3 multipliers that expand resources and turn time into money. Labor, hiring others to create value. Powerful but messy. Managing people is draining, and poor management kills growth. Capital, using money to amplify results. Real estate is the classic example. Borrow, invest, and multiply returns. But capital also magnifies risk. Market crashes can wipe out gains. Products and content, scalable work, multiplier. Write a book, code software, create a video. Once built, it can be distributed infinitely at almost no cost. This is the multiplier that breaks the limits of time and space, giving anyone the chance to build compounding wealth. Let's see multiplication in action with a real estate landlord. A landlord buys a $2 million property with $500,000 down and borrows the rest. As the city grows, the property rises to $3 million. After repaying the loan, the landlord multiplies that initial $500,000 into a massive gain. That's the capital multiplier at work. And ownership makes it even more powerful. Whether through selling for profit or renting for steady cash flow, the property builds long-term wealth. So where does all this leave us? The conclusion is unavoidable. Hard work alone doesn't make you rich. Despite being told our whole lives that hard work pays off, the truth is far more complicated. On a personal level, we need a mindset shift. Stop relying on labor alone. Build financial literacy. Learn to invest. Turn your skills and knowledge into scalable products and services using the tools of the digital age. On a societal level, we need fair systems. Employee stock ownership, for example, helps workers share in the value they create. Governments and companies should foster innovation and entrepreneurship, giving more people a chance to compete on equal ground. And for you personally, have you begun to see through the illusions? Have you found a new direction for your own path to wealth? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. This is Smart Money Basics, helping you make smarter moves and build lasting wealth. If you found today's episode useful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use this insight. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching. Stay focused, and I'll see you next time.